Hey folks, Dave here, and welcome to the final episode of my Torment Tides of Numenera playthrough, episode 7. My impressions playthrough, I should say. This has been quite a ride so far. I feel like it's cliche to say, but I feel like I haven't really even scratched the surface of the game thus far. I guess part of that is because I've been reading all the text out loud, so I'm less far along than I would be if I'm just reading in my mind. It's probably the same for all of you as well. We don't tend to read every word when we read, and there's probably a lot of skimming. I know I do a lot of skimming when I read in my head, but I've been enjoying it. I mean, I think the game so far has been kind of guilty of info dumping a bit. It's such a weird world, and I don't know, it just feels like it's throwing stuff at me and expecting me to follow along, but because my character doesn't really know who they are, I mean, it does work. And to be fair, the two quests so far, like saving that guy from an execution, that even though it was weird how he was being executed, like the dynamic between the two guys and saving a man from a death by a heinous act, that's very relatable. And here we go. We fixed a clock for this cult, and now I'm in the clock, and I'm running into the three figures that were trapped in the clock. So they have discovered that they've traded the clock prison for my mind prison, and they want me to get them out of here. So that's what's about to happen. Let's continue. Okay, so let me just read this again. His eyes become nearly as large as the Vargellans. What, you mean we just went from one prison to another? He grips you by the shoulders. You did this. If this is your mind, then let us out. Maybe I should just say, I don't know how to get us out of here. Yeah. Relax, friend brother. Whether for days or centuries, we survived that clock. We will survive this. If time is an illusion, then it is not our enemy. We will find a way. Why did the changing god trap you in the clock? Ah, yes. She looks down, embarrassed. The three of us once worked alongside our sire, helping him with his research after he'd brought the Order of Truth to Sedge's Cliffs. We saw him for what he was, selfish, arrogant. Maralel helped us to see. I wonder what has become of her since we were imprisoned. Ah, Maralel, there's a lead. He doesn't care about us, not a single one of his children. He crosses his arms and looks away bitterly. All of his projects were always about him. He didn't care if anyone got hurt in the process. We betrayed him. Unlike the others, the Vargellan looks you directly in the eye. We meant to stun him, to capture him before he could escape to another body, but he was too quick for us. He activated the clock, tearing our minds from our bodies and trapping us eternally. I don't see any way out. The Vargellan stretches its neck, putting its face within a hand span of yours. It seems to be examining you. Then it says, your mind. Only you have the power to change. What he's trying to say is that this place was created for your body, or perhaps by your body. Our sire placed within each of us unique gifts and abilities. For example, I have never heard tell of another cast-off who could trap consciousnesses the way that you have. She gives you a warm smile. He would not have created this space for you without also giving you a means by which to move through it. Think, what other gifts did our Creator bestow upon you? I chose an aspect of myself when I was born, deep in the heart of this labyrinth. Is that it? His name is going to drive me up the wall. Deviatiku. Deviatiku shakes his head. I can see what you speak of, it says, and you get a momentary impression that his eyes can see through you. This aspect describes you, just as I am Vargellan. Villain is observant, Kamos is foolish. I object to that characterization. He gives the kind chuckle. He's not wrong, and you know it. At her wounded look, he raises his hand placatingly. It's the truth. Anyway, you've gotten us out of twice as much trouble as you got us into. The Vargellan speaks to you. These aspects are descriptors of who we are. they are not us. That you chose your aspects says quite a lot, but I do not believe that is enough to set us free. I built a path out of a deep fathom in my mind by recovering memories I had lost. Perhaps, if there were any memories here to recover. He curls his lip and looks around. Maybe I just don't know what memories look like, but I don't see anything. It would seem we are in agreement, villain. I'm what they call an M. He laughs. So's the Vargellan, but you don't see him barking about it. You see, that's just the type of thing that you do. It was a path you chose, not something our sire gave you, nor a means to freedom. I don't think I have the ability you're talking about. You must! She looks at her compatriots and back to you. We each have our gifts given to us by our sire for a specific purpose. His purpose, of course, but a purpose nonetheless. She presses a hand to her chest. They say, for example, that, foolish though I may be, I have 9 magical gifts of speech. That is not something I chose nor learned, but it is who he made me to be. He rubbed his hand along the edge of his shield. I am a master of defensive arts. Our sire learned them when he was in my body, probably built my body to excel at it. I wouldn't call it a gift, but it's me, yeah. Wow, imagine that. To be able to create, like, I've heard it said with that idea of reincarnation, the idea that spirits choose what new body anywhere new through time they want to go into, because sometimes they want to learn what it's like to have a lot of suffering, or maybe sometimes they want an easy life, sometimes they want to try a body at this place at this time. This sounds very much like it, like this changing god thinks, I'd like to spend a lifetime perfecting this art, so he creates a body to do so, and then discards it once he's learned the art, but that person lives on, and it sounds like the changing god retains those powers. Wow. I am one with the shadows. I live in them. I breathe them. This is not some esotery I discovered, but a unique ability our sire chose for me when he was in my body. She gives you a kind smile. The gift is in you. Perhaps you have just forgotten. Our sire wouldn't have made this place for you without granting you the power to get out. Focus. Find the answer inside yourself. Shut your eyes. Search your memories for this ability they speak of. You rifle through your memories past everything you actually remember to those memories you didn't create yourself. There must be a key or a door, anything that would help you to escape this fathom in your mind. Just as you're about to give up, you find something, a cluster of sparks, nascent abilities deep within the core of your being. You sense the abilities to speak eloquently, to use a shield within a master skill, to lurk among the shadows as though they were home. None of these seem particularly suited to creating a path out of this place, but as you sift through them, you know that you are trapped here, not because it is some puzzle your sire left for you to solve, but because you are not yet whole. This is another part, the last part of deciding who you are. In completing yourself, you will be able to open a path back to the calm of your mind. You choose which of these 3 is the last part of you. Cool. You know the right thing to say in every situation. There's no obstacle that cannot be overcome with words. You hide in the folds between dimensions, evading even the most watchful eye. Emerging, you rend reality and your enemies along with it. You study techniques to defend yourself and others, physically and mentally, in any situation. Of course I'm going silver ton. Natural charisma. Nice. Yes, I always love speech in RPGs. That's it. You did it. Does this mean we can go back to the real world? I don't think so, villain. It does mean we are free, finally. He turns to you. Thank you, friend. Go. We will follow. Something's not right. Shadows, angles. It's safer for him to go first.
I'm going.
Boop. Ooh. Damn. Huh. I saw what happened. Are you all right? That thing almost killed you. What did happen? It blasted you out of that part of your mind. His voice is somber. The sorrow must be gathering its strength, taking spaces in your mind to keep you from reaching your full potential. I don't know why it doesn't just destroy you. Maybe the fragments aren't strong enough. Yet. It's alright though. We have more important things to do, right? Like get that chamber fixed. Something feels odd about this man, but it takes a while to put your finger on it. It's his thoughts. They aren't there, or rather, they're there, but they're indistinct. A kind of white noise that blends in too well with the background hush of this place. I found the resonance chamber, but it's broken. Yeah, I saw that. I don't see everything you do out there in the world, but I definitely saw that. You have to find a way to fix it. Your thoughts are fuzzy. Why can't I read them? His voice is dry, but his smile takes some of the sting from his words. I imagine it's because we're in a place of pure thought. I'm a construct of pure thought, and that our conversation is taking place on the level of thoughts. Most things here aren't real. It'd be like reading your own mind. Is there anything to do while I'm here? You mean apart from the cabaret acts, distilleries, and endless adventure just behind that next wrinkle in your mind? He jabs you in the arm with his elbow. Ha! And if you believe that... Sorry, but it's your mind. There's nothing like that here. I've looked. Still, you've changed things plenty already. I wouldn't be surprised if something showed up here eventually. How did activating the clock in the real world open that other fathom? Who knows? Probably triggered something in your mind, made a bridge you didn't have before. Maybe you did have the bridge once, but you lost it. Could other fathoms open like that? Maybe. You've already made a lot of changes to this place. At this point, nothing would surprise me. Has anything changed since last time I was here? Look around. It's your mind. How do I get back this time? Portal's still there. I don't see why it wouldn't work twice. Okay. I think I'm ready to go. Farewell. Portal has collapsed into this tiny pulsing sphere. Something about it strikes you as angry, though you'd be hard-pressed to say why. Ah, yes, I remember this place.
Yes. Now. I can breathe again.
Back we go. I'm back. Okay. Yeah, Casmian and Mima. Let's talk to these folks. You fixed the clock. I knew you could do it. I knew it. She shoots a triumphant smile at Mimian. You must tell us what you saw. Who were those figures? Were they cast-offs? What did they say? Were you able to retrieve them? Patience, Cass. We must first congratulate our guest. He turns to you. Masterfully done, revered one. A performance worthy of your sire. He bows gravely to you. You are most welcome here. And we do have answers for your questions, revered one. That is, as soon as we hear the report of what you have found. Tell us. She is nearly breathless with excitement. I met Kamos, the Vic2, I'll never get that name right, and Villain. Disappointment creases her face. I know these names. They're not new to us. They were favored servants of your creator, cast-offs who served him well indeed. The Vietiku... That's going to annoy me though, because I usually in a book that has difficult names, it takes a while, maybe 5 to 10 recitations of it, but eventually I get it. But here, the Vietiku brought the Order of Truth to Sage's Cliffs, but they betrayed their holy trust and disappeared. He sighs, nevertheless, we will honor our arrangement. You sought answers about who might repair the resonance chamber. We know that your sire built it with the aid of another cast-off, still unknown to us. Perhaps one of your siblings might know where to find him. Or her. I know of only one other cast-off still in the city, the albino assassin Matkina. They call her the White Death. She wore a camouflaging cloak and brought destruction in her wake. The last I heard of her, she was in the Underbelly. He restrains a shudder. Seek her, but be wary. Hey, we got some levels. Cool. Oh, because I did that last time. I can't do it this time. So I can increase edge in the pool of your choice. Ah. Sure, why not? Now we learn Hardened Nano who fights with his demons. Improved ability. Let's get your abilities. Improved skill. Smashing. Intimidation, endurance. Yeah, let's get you as my healer. That sounds good. Tibber, cagey Jack who knows how to take care of himself. Okay. So. Cold calculating Jack. In the Underbelly. No.
Yes. I'm ready.
Don't know where this goes, but let's find out. I think it's time to explore a little. Oh, looky there. It's the Underbelly. All these thugs, eh? There's a cultist. What's that?
Go.
A dark sphere inhabits almost every socket in this obelisk that stretches towards the cavernous ceiling. No one else seems to be paying the odd structure any attention. Like most Numenera, it's simply here, and if it can't be used, it's treated as part of the scenery. The orbs gleam in the dim light. You lean towards them. Are they glass? Jewels? Eyes? Perception. A flicker from one of the orbs above you catches your eye. You look up just in time to see the image of a woman leaning toward the surface of the glass from the inside. Touched near a sphere. Your finger barely grazes the glass before it displays the image of a furred creature touching the surface from the other side. Purple veins threaded with veins of light hang from the branches of the trees behind it. You lift your fingertip and darkness swallows the creature. The orb is opaque once more. The orbs appear to reflect whatever action is performed in front of them. Tell the orb a secret. With your lips nearly brushing the surface, you whisper a thought you've never told anyone. A too tall, narrow-hipped being, a visitant, appears in the glass, long fingers clasped. Meeting your eyes, it speaks words you cannot hear. You can, however, sense its thoughts. They tickle an odd part of your mind. Dizziness overcomes you. You suddenly know that the visitant speaks stolen words and that blood was spilled to take them. Even though the cause was just, the visitant is deeply ashamed. It fades into the back of the orb, lowering its head. Let's leave it alone. Okay. Crooked Keek. What's this? Oh. It's fishing. The thin glowing thread pierces the surface of the water and plunges deep into the black depths like a white line drawn in shining ink. Examine the line. You try flicking the shining string and your finger goes right through it. Could you try catching something for me? I've had no luck today. Besides, everything down there is pretty much stronger than me. Try catching something. You pull on the line and something in the dark below pulls back. You press your lips together and reel in your catch. A muddy cipher dangles from the end of the line. It's beautiful, Crooked Keek breathes. I was just hoping for fish. I can sell it and eat for weeks. Hand it over. Yeah, of course. You pass the cipher to her, and she squinches her eyes shut in unmitigated joy. Thank you. Use my fishing pole whenever you want. Let's tug on the line. Take hold of the fishing rod and begin reeling in that line. But nothing is on the hook. You might have better luck tomorrow. Okay. I can come back here and... Headless man, eh? That's a Baronoff. This large and heavily muscled woman wears what appear to be rags that should have fallen apart ages ago. She looks so tired that it wouldn't be a surprise if she fell asleep on her feet. And yet, when she opens her mouth, her voice is energetic, like a little girl who's about to get a present. Hello, can anyone hear what I'm saying? Ah, I can't make this work. Without warning, she slaps herself. I hope no one saw that. Oddly, no thoughts at all come from this woman. At least you think she has none. There is a faint whispering at the edge of your hearing, but you can't make out any words. Who are you? Are you talking to me? Her head swivels awkwardly around, trying to catch a glimpse of you. Oh, you are! My name is Vernoth, champion of the wastes. The woman flinches at the sound of the very different booming voice that came from her own mouth. That's not my name, you stupid thing. It's Vernoth, champion of the wastes. Damn. I come from a land you've never heard of. Damn it, I guess I'm not allowed to say. You're controlling a construct, aren't you? That's not a real body. Bah, don't be ridiculous, the other one shouts. You've got it, the girl says a second later. It keeps yelling over me if I talk about something I'm not supposed to, she says, lowering her voice. But maybe if I speak carefully. Her chin drops to her chest. My family explores the world using special tools. The body stabs itself with its finger pointedly. But they tell me I'm too young to help, so I waited until everyone was sleeping and, you know, the head lolls back on its neck, winking at the roof of the cavern. Are you an explorer too? I am, but not like you. Oh, she says. For some reason I thought that you were a champion of the wastes, too. Damn, it did it again, didn't it? Just don't tell anyone what I am, all right? What do your people explore? Our impenetrable fortress in the Lost Valley is falling apart. I think we should just go out into the world for real, but no, my family is afraid. The fingers on the woman's right hand wiggle like they're playing an instrument. Her dead expression doesn't change even as the girl's voice rises. I'm not, of course, but they won't even let me use this thing. I have to sneak around like a child. Farewell.
Here we go then.
Ooh, what the fuck is that thing? Blood. Folsom. He looks like an overlord or something. Let's talk to him. This man towers over you, enormously fat and draped in gaudy robes. His expression is calm, stern even, as he regards the bloody mess spread across the floor and wall. The hooded figures on either side of him tense as you approach. He turns to inspect you, eyebrow lifted, and raises his hand. His bodyguards relax, watching you. In the space of a second, his eyes flick over you. He nods, apparently to himself, as if your presence has confirmed something he expected. One of the cast-off godlings. That explains the missing pieces. What are you doing in the Underbelly, falling star? How do you know who I am? An odd question, he says, frowning. You fell from the sky like a comet, and somehow survived. My people have been watching you since you set foot on the beach. He cocks his head. Now that I have answered your question, answer mine. What are you doing down here? I'm looking for someone. Are you? He says. I know everyone in the Underbelly, and I am seeking someone as well. Perhaps we can help each other.
Making a note.
He turns his back on you, staring down at the vast pool of blood. This is all that remains of Weedle, one of my protégés. I had hopes for him. Now they will never be realized. The Underbelly is poorer without him. The rage beneath his voice cuts every word shorter and shorter. Bring me any information you find. Help me discover the identity of its killer, and you will be rewarded. He exhales sharply, then turns around. The fury you glimpsed in him is buried once more.
Making a note.
There is an assassin named Makina, he says. She is known as the White Death. I have helped her find work in the past, but she has become erratic. If she is not involved, she might know who is. If you wish to help in this matter, ask her what she knows. The creature named Mapper may know where she is. You can count on me. I hope so, he says. Trustworthy allies are in short supply. Silver Tide raised a tiny amount. I want to examine the murder scene behind you. At first, Folsom doesn't respond. He merely stares down at you, through you. I will not have you trampled through his blood without cause, he says at last, so there had better be one. I don't need your help that badly, godling. The murderer may have left behind evidence. I wouldn't know unless you let me look. He casts a doubtful glance behind him, pauses, then nods. Let him pass when he is ready, he tells the hooded figures at his side. They incline their heads. Farewell. Okay, let's see. Look at the blood. Not much remains of Folsom's former protege beyond a vast still pool of blood with a skinned hand at its center. A bloody circle is scrawled on the wall nearby. Inspect the hand. A flayed hand with long, slender fingers lies palm up in the center of the pool of blood. The rest of the victim is missing.
I'll remember that.
Examine the circle. It is immediately clear that the dashes and bleeding pinpricks decorating the circle are not random. This is a symbol drawn with careful intent. Unfortunately, it means nothing to you. Before you can look away from the circle, a memory bulges painfully through your thoughts, and the memory isn't yours. Surrender to the memory, no matter how much it hurts. Fresh blood streams over the circle, yanking you through the hollow at its center into the world beyond. A strip of blistered land coils through a void as black as a gaping mouth. The air is thick, foul, and textured with the slickness of maggots. Nausea slams into you, filling your head, infecting your thoughts. Ooh. You shove the horrific memory away from you, slamming your mind shut like a door and swallowing the knot of nausea in your throat. After seeing that world, the bloody pool at your feet seems almost mundane. Damn, I took is that forever 2 damage? Probably not. Yes. But I took a hit for that. Hey, there's Mapper. Cool. Let's talk to Mapper. From a distance, it looks as if this mutant is wearing a form-fitting suit of finely patterned lines in white, yellow, and pale blue. On closer examination, it becomes apparent that these are tattoos, and they cover nearly the entirety of his body, even his shaved head. His actual clothes are simple and worn, and his boots look as though they've seen hard use. He is studying the meaningless swirls and whirls on his arm. Whirls, I guess, and mouthing names that mean nothing to you. Solvi, Belint, Ergao, Tentries. When he looks up at you, you see that a strange device covers one of his eyes. A deep blue light shines in its center, and he seems to measure and evaluate you as he focuses on you. He smiles as you approach, a broad, beaming grin that says he considers you a friend already. "I'm Mapper," he says, extending his hand. As my alarm goes off. Aw, I just met a new friend and I have to bid adieu. But let's finish talking to him at least for a little while. A new face. New faces mean new places. I've been everywhere around here. I've found my way into places long sealed and best forgotten. Met all sorts of people. He frowns. Can't say I cared much for some of them. It's true. His voice is fast, insistent, and incisive. Still, I try. The communities of our world are islands of light. Sometimes they wink out, and sometimes they flare up. I want to link them together. I want to be a bridge. I'm looking for a woman named Makina. Do you know where I can find her? Makina, the White Death. I've heard of her. I know where she hides, too. He grins wide, exposing a mouthful of extraordinary white and clean teeth. I can tell you where she is, but I hate to say it comes with a price. Much as I love to talk about my travels, I need to finish a patch of my Sagas Cliffs map. I need bragging rights for the next time I see the navigators. He shrugs. Also, she might not be happy, I've told. But I might be able to help you find it. For a trade, of course. He drops his voice. Have you ever heard of the changing god? Savior of Sagas Cliffs in times past and so forth? They say he had a sanctuary under the city, a place he used to retreat to and plan for the future while he dwelt on his past. You know, making possibility maps. That sanctuary is the one important place I haven't seen in Sagas Cliffs, and I need to fill it in my map. As far as I can tell, it's not far past the Stitcha Lair. The problem I'm having is that I just can't make any sense of their language. Maybe you can talk to them. He shrugs disarmingly. It's a hell of a price, I know, but there it is. You want to find Makina, you'll find the sanctuary for me. I'm back when I found the sanctuary. Travel well, my friend. Okay, so let's just save. New save game in the Underbelly. And let's leave it there. Okay, so final thoughts on Torment Tides of Numenera. I really like this. Yes, it is very text heavy, but I'm kind of already drawn into world. It's weird, you know, a lot of the problem I used to have with these games back in the 90s when the whole CRPG resurgence happened was that I always felt like there was, I had to find my own leads. You know, the games weren't great about pushing you in the right direction. At least, you know, my younger self thought that. These days, you know, like a couple years ago when I revisited Baldur's Gate and Planescape Torment, I found them quite easy to parse, actually. The road maps are everywhere, but I guess I just wasn't observant enough or too impatient to find them for myself. This is definitely a genre I've come to appreciate more as I've grown older. And it feels like this is a much more streamlined title. Like I said, I think an episode or two ago, I do feel, I do feel kind of like too much is going on. Like the world is too weird, and I'm not getting sufficient information, or it's not being told to me in a way I'm appreciative of. But I feel like I'm making progress every time I play, and the conversations and the writing is engaging enough for me to want to continue, talk to more people, and see what's around the next corner. So I think this is one I'm going to add to my critique list. I'm enamored with it. I'd like to see what this story has to say, what happens, and if this is a world that maybe I'd love to revisit in the future. So, with that being said, please tell me your thoughts. Did you enjoy the playthrough? If so, or if not, please tell me why. And, just, I don't know, maybe it's all the reading. My throat seems pretty raw right at the moment. I'm going to have the biggest swig of water when I'm done with this episode. Yeah, since this was 7 episodes, I usually like to take the same amount of days off with the number of episodes I have per playthrough. So we'll see you in a week with a new game. I hope you're all having a good day, and see you next time. Bye, everyone.